name's Patrick, and I've been a friend of Rob's for close to 30 years, as I first met him while attending Damien High School back in 1986. I remember seeing him for the first time as I was a sophomore at the time, and he was an incoming freshman. My first impression of this little kid walking around with his little bomber jacket, Doc Martens, and a shaved head was he sure was a funny-looking little fellow. And I remember thinking that this was probably not somebody I would be befriending anytime in the near future. Lo and behold, though, when I walked into second period math, who should be sitting right next to me? But of course it was Rob. Now back in those days at an all-boys school, freshmen usually had to keep their head low to avoid situations as they were the low man on the totem pole, as it were. But I remember as I sat down, this little guy made eye contact with me, wearing my football jersey, and said, "Hello, mate, my name is Rob." After the initial response of, "Listen here, freshman, you must be crazy to talk to me on your first day," he kept asking me questions, much to my irritation. However, as the teacher, Mr. Jackson, began yelling at me for disturbing the class, Rob had raised his hand and then began to explain that it was he who was causing the distraction and thus took the blame. After class, I asked him why he did that, as most kids, especially at our age, never would have offered up themselves for reprimand, regardless of whether they were right or wrong, and he said two things to me. One, that he didn't want me or my football friends to start any shenanigans with him, and two, that he wanted to show me that the British weren't so bad, as we both acknowledged our nationalities, mine being Irish, during our little conversation. Now, after I had a good laugh and said I would still never trust the British, we both had a good chuckle and I wished him well. Well, can you believe it? As I was walking to my next class, who should be right behind me but the same little kid, excuse me, same little kid, and where did he end up sitting next to me? Yep, right next to me again. Now this time I actually started asking him questions like where he was from, what school did he come from, what kind of music he liked, and all the stuff, all the usual stuff, except this time when the teacher yelled at us to quiet down, her ire was directed at Rob. Well, after she got done reprimanding him, he leaned over to me and asked why I didn't raise my hand. And I said, "Because you're a freshman. Welcome to Damien." After this, and as the days passed at school, Rob and I began talking more and more. And with each class and conversation, I could tell this was someone that not only made me laugh quite a bit, but was somebody I would quickly become friends with. We spent many days at school discussing various topics and getting to know each other that first year, and by the end of the school year, we have become good friends, and to this very day, I'm glad that we had that encounter. As the high school years passed, Rob and I enjoyed many things together that continued to bind our friendship as we went on ski trips, attended parties, rock concerts, camping, and many adventurous nights up in the hills of Clairvoyant. Rob has always been a true friend to me, and I can honestly say I've never met anyone like him. His ability to make friends wherever he may be, and his uncanny ability to tell the funniest stories in the funniest fashion, even if they were nonsense, was always one of his best attributes in addition to his kindness. Rob was a person that whomever he came across, he would leave a lasting impression, as I'm sure many people in this room could attest to. He was a firm believer in family, and once he befriended you, you were always considered family to him. He was one of my closest and truest friends, and although he left to travel the world, we always kept in touch no matter where he would be in his travels. While each and every one of these fond memories will always be with me, the most important thing to me was that Rob was always a good friend to me in both good and bad times. Rob was always a person I could confide in. Whenever we would go somewhere, I always knew he would have my back. I found Rob to be a very important person in my life, and I couldn't imagine never not knowing him or his family. I'd like to recite an Irish poem that we say upon someone's passing. Feel no guilt and laughter, he'd know how much you care. Feel no sorrow and a smile that he is not here to share. You cannot grieve forever, he would not want you to. He'd hope that you carry on the way you always do. So talk about the good times and the way you show you cared, the days you spent together, all the happiness you shared. Let memories surround you, a word someone may say will suddenly recapture a time, an hour, a day. That brings him back as clearly as though he was still here and fills you with the feeling that he is always near. For if you keep those memories, you will never be apart, and he will live forever, locked safely within your heart. Rob is someone that, although he may be gone today, will live on in my heart and the hearts of those he has touched for all the remaining days of our life. He will forever and always be my brother.